things you've never done. There's not much time and less to say. Oh please, just come away. You could be
Oh no.
the streets for no reason, maybe. Just till you see you won't be so lonely. When you're with me, you won't ever be so lonely.
Mm.
She's well known to police, 'cause she looks like a riot. Always takes what she needs and leaves the rest behind. Oh, this love will kill me, but I don't think I mind. Blame it on the way we don't even care. We know we'll be alright. Alright, yeah. We fall asleep in the morning light. Oh, and when we dream, we just might find a way to make sense of everything we've seen tonight. You could be my lady, and we'll walk the streets for no reason, maybe. Just till you see you won't be so lonely. When you're with me, you won't ever be so lonely. She's well known to police, 'cause she looks like a riot. Always takes what she needs and leaves the rest behind. Oh, this love will kill me, but I don't think I mind. Blame it on the way we don't even care. We know we'll be alright. Be alright. Be alright, yeah. Wake up, turn around, you're my girl. If you stick with me, then you won't ever be so lonely. She's well known to police, 'cause she looks like a riot. Always takes what she needs and leaves the rest behind. Oh, this love will kill me, but I don't think I mind. Blame it on the way we don't even care. We know it'll be alright. Alright, yeah. I'm going back to 5:05. If it's a 7-hour flight or a 45-minute drive. In my imagination, you're waiting, lying on your side, with your hands between your thighs. Stop and wait a sec. When you look at me like that, my darling, what did you expect? I'd probably still adore you with your hands around my neck, or I did last time I checked. Not shy of a spark. The knife twists at the thought that I should fall short of the mark. Frightened by the bite, though it's no harsher than the bark. The middle of adventure is such a perfect place to start. I'm going back to 5:05.
Yes, you were a child. Take only what you need from me. Cause you were a child. Take only what you need from it. Make your mama so proud. But your voice is still loud.
Was our inset tool, and then that brings us to the next step, which is step number 2, doing our extrude. On the plus, I only want to do that once, and then that was our extrude. And then step number 3 is to do 3 more insets. Now, why do we need to do more than one inset here? Well, if we don't, we're going to end up with this within our subdivision, and this artifacting here is a very common problem, and we call this a topology issue. It's a fancy word meaning that the flow of the vertices on the mesh don't play nice with our subdivision modifier. So how do we fix that? First, I'm going to activate my inset tool directly underneath the extrude tool. And then I'm going to click and drag on this 3 different times, creating 3 new insets. And what that's going to do is creating us a lot more resolution for the subdivision modifier to work, so that all the vertices are going to play nicer and look better as they go through the smoothing operation. And our final step, step number 4, is to merge at center. First, I'm going to deactivate my inset tool by selecting on my selection tool, and that's going to prevent us from accidentally doing a new inset. And then with our mouse over the 3D view, I'm going to hit the hotkey M to merge, and then I'm going to do merge at center. And once I do merge at center, we'll then see that we now have a triangle fan directly in the middle of our tip. And what a triangle fan does is a series of vertices that's all connecting together. And then we added 2 additional loops around it to have additional support so that it plays nice with our subdivision modifier. And that was our inset and extrude in, and we'll continue in the next chapter. Our goal now is to take our progress, and then we're going to extrude out the very tip of our pommel. And our very first step is to do our selection. First, I'm going to orbit around so I can get a clear view in the back. And we're going to want to do a multi-selection to select these 2 back polygon faces. First, we're going to go over to polygon face, the option on the right. And now I'm going to select one and then shift select the other to do our selection. And that was our selection. And now we'll move to step number 2, which is extruding the tip. First, I'm going to find my extrude tool. Then I'm going to activate that. And now I'm going to orbit around, get in position, and click and drag on the plus icon to extrude that out. And super important, we only want about 40% of an extra length here. If you need to adjust it, you can always activate your move tool. And step number 3 is to do our scale inward. I'm going to activate my scale tool by hitting S. And then using the red handle, the X axis, I'm going to scale inward just a little bit. Great. And that was our scale inwards. Now we're ready to move on to the next step. Step number 4, which is move the top edges down. First, I'm going to change my selection mode. I'm going to switch it over to edge selection, the middle option. I'm going to select the one edge, shift select the other edge, and now hit G and then move it down. Great. And now we're ready to do our move. I'm going to hit G and then move it down. Great. And now we're getting a really dynamic shape here. And the shape that I'm looking for is to continue that hoop all the way from the base of the pommel down to the very tip, one motion all the way through. And that was our extrusion, and we'll continue in the next chapter. And our goal now is to take our progress and add in a mirror modifier so that all that progress that we made is now on the backside as well. And our very first step is to delete the bottom. First, we're going to need to make our selection. So I'll grab my selection tool, and then I'll switch over to face selection mode. And now I'm going to rotate around my 3D view and get in position to be able to easily select this. And I'm going to select one polygon face, shift select the other polygon face, on the bottom of that extrusion, and now do a shift box drag selection to be able to add the base into that selection. Great, and now I have my selection. Now I'll right click and then go all the way down to delete faces. And once we delete faces, we see that entire bottom half is gone, and we should then be ready.
Fiend.
To add in our mirror modifier, which then step number 2, add in our mirror modifier. Down in the modifiers panel, I'm going to go back up to add modifier, do another search, and then type in mirror for mirror modifier. And once I find that, I'll hit enter. Great. And you'll notice that we don't actually see anything happening yet. This is because our default settings in the mirror isn't what we want. By default, it's for the x-axis, which is actually mirroring it horizontally. So we need to first disable the x-axis and then enable the z-axis, so we're mirroring it going up and down. And that was our mirror modifier. And then step number 3, we're going to do our final scale into an oval shape. First, I'm going to hit tab to jump out.
He's not back. No. He's coming with daddy, right? He's not back. I don't know.
Into object mode. So I'm scaling in object mode. Then I'm going to hit S to jump into my scale tool. Great. And now I'm going to scale this in the green axis.
No. Development.
So that we're getting that oval shape. And now I'm going to do a little bit of finessing here. And I'm going to give you a last few pointers to judge how this looks. If the polymer is too thick, I'm going to grab the blue axis and scale it down a little bit and move that in so it feels like it's tucked inside of that tip there. And you'll see that again. I'm going to draw over this and do that flow. We want a nice flow all the way from the base all the way to the tip. And then we'll notice that the thickness of the pommel is actually just slightly thinner than what the base was. So I scaled it down a little bit more so that it feels like it's being tucked inside of that. And that's a very subtle detail for this thing to feel believable. Great. And that was the full base mesh for the tip, and we'll continue adding the fine details in the next chapter. And our goal now is to take the low resolution tip and turn it
I'm for my bestie. I don't know. What do you do?
into a high-res hard surface mesh. We're going to do so with the help of our edge creases and a subdivision surface modifier. And step number 1, we need to do our selection for our edge creases. First, I'm going to select the tip of the pommel, and then I'm going to hit tab to jump into edit mode. And then I'm going to change our edit mode selections from faces over to edges, our middle option. Great. And now I'm going to orbit around to get a 3/4 view. And now we have a very tricky selection coming up, so I want your eyes on the video to see which exactly ones, and I'll tell you where to pause. We're going to want to select one here, there, and there. Those are going to be the corners. Then we're going to select the corner on the interior. So now we have a total of 4 selections, and we have 6 more to do. They're going to be on the extrusion that we did. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sure. Yeah.
5, and then 6. So now we have a total of 10 edges selected. And if you need to pause the video, now is a good time to do that. And once you have that selected, we're ready for the next